We did it, we're live!
Live!
Welcome to Final Tribal Council for UTOPIA Season 8. Great unity. For those who don't know, I'm Jen.
I'm Molly. You should know me.
And we are 3 production members for the game. We're very excited to be here making history tonight with our first ever Final 2. And so we're gonna, I guess, jump right into it. I see no reason to dilly-dally. So let's bring in our finalists. So we have Rizzo and May here. They have played the whole game and made it to the end. And now tonight they're going to plead their case to the jury to get those jury votes and to hopefully get themselves a win tonight. So May won our final immunity challenge. So she got the opportunity to pick the order for what speeches will be given. And so we will start it off with May's opening speech.
Hey y'all. Okay, so if you don't mind indulging me for a moment, I'd like to tell a story about a girl who loves games. As an elementary school student, she showed a love of logic and puzzles, so her dad taught her how to play chess. It didn't take long before she could beat him, and not long after that, she started playing tournaments. She was improving rapidly, but the weekend practices and constant tournaments put her off that path. It took until Destiny, a futuristic shooter game, came out in her freshman year of high school for her to experience real competition. She joined a clan, streamed on Twitch, played tournaments, and even ran and casted her own tournaments. From there, she moved on to the game Overwatch, and her competitive spark grew into a fire. She started managing amateur teams during her last year of high school, and once she had reached top 5% of the player base as a player, she started trying to go pro. In another year, she had reached number 196 on the competitive ladder and was practicing and competing daily. She found her strength as a strategist and communicator and dominated her team's comms as an in-game leader. During her second year of college, she moved to coaching instead. She had a knack for it, and within a few months, she was being paid to work with a European team, who she coached to second place during their first season together, and after one more season of refining her technique, took home a regional title and $60,000. At that point, she got offered a full-time job at the professional team, conditional on her leaving college and moving to Montreal to coach live. They offered her the chance to live and breathe games and spend her life answering the question, how do I win? And she took it. In a few short months, they promoted her again, and while ultimately the stress and instability of esports proved too much for her, she took away a lifetime's worth of lessons in what it takes to win. And she never stopped competing either. She picked up Hearthstone and achieved number 87. She picked up Magic and won money in tournaments, peaking at number 5. She even got back into chess. And she was only getting better and faster at picking up new games the more she played. So, when her sister approached her with the chance to play another game, one where a single match took over a month and the medium was conversation, and you played not for an objective, but for survival, she took on the new challenge. But this girl doesn't go into games without a plan. So she planned. She thought back to her past as a competitive IRC Mafia player, her even farther past watching Survivor with her mom as a kid, and she formulated what she thought was a winning strategy for this sort of game. So, now that y'all know my background, to give myself the best odds at winning UTOPIA, I first wanted everyone's immediate impression of me to be as unthreatening as possible. This is why I hid this background in gaming all this time, since it didn't fit with the image I was trying to project at first. Pre-swap and during swap, my only goals were getting to know people, figuring out who I could be loyal to and who would be loyal to me, and setting myself up with multiple options post-merge such that I'd be a part of as many potential majorities as possible. Most importantly, I wanted to understand where each player in the game stood relative to one another. For this whole game, I imagined our collective dynamic as a web of relationships where people were constantly moving towards and away from each other, and I always tried to keep it as accurate as possible every round. This allowed me, every round, to try to answer the question, what does each player see as best for their game? And this was key. In come merge, I stopped holding back. This was part 2 of my plan, since being unthreatening is great for surviving, but if I'd played the whole game like that, you wouldn't have a reason to vote for me today. Starting at the first vote, I nudged people towards an outcome I favored, while keeping tabs on what everyone was likely thinking and being told. This culminated in me writing the exact vote spread for the 20-vote round in my alliance chat and being completely correct. I was in a powerful position, and I used that power without being overbearing. During this same round, I got the extra vote from the puzzle challenge and convinced my 2 closest allies to buy me letters for the idol. It was a great round for me, and the next round was well within my acceptable range of outcomes too. After that, I struggled a bit. Live night prevented my usual meticulous planning, and for the first time in the game, I failed to get the time and information I needed to see everyone else's positions clearly. One of my closest allies left, and I know I could have prevented it with perfect play. The following round, I was still reeling a bit, and my other closest and most secret ally was voted out. Sorry, Jules. This is my lowest point in the game. I honestly almost gave up.
Second warning.
Second warning?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. But I didn't. I decided how I wanted the rest of the game to go, and I found new angles to make it happen. I never saw this day of the game so clearly as at that moment, and despite being in a nominal 2-4 minority, I was never on the wrong side of a vote again. In each round, I knew exactly what approach to take with each player to get what I wanted out of the vote. As a final moment of clarity, I even predicted the final immunity challenge tie before any of us had started. From start to finish, I used my hard-won analytical skills combined with a deliberate, long-term strategy to predict the flow of the game and alter it to suit me where necessary, and that got me here. I played hard from ahead, I played tactfully from behind, and my intentionally and cultivated low threat level let me survive my allies leaving and kept everyone else comfortable with keeping me around. Whether or not that's a game well played is up to y'all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, May. Next up, we have our other finalist, Rizzo. Take it away.
All right, welcome everyone to FTC. I don't know why I'm welcoming you guys, but it's me. It's the guy that you've played with the entire time. I want to basically talk to you guys about my game because honestly, I feel like a lot of people's perceptions, my game might be a big unknown. I feel like my perception, not only coming into this game, but a lot of the merge was Rizzo relied on idols and advantages. And before we really get into that part, I really want to talk about just my perception of the game and just how I play the game, because ultimately, we all signed up to play an online reality game where we're meeting a whole bunch of strangers and we're playing a game of deceit and deception. And I think when I look at my core values and I look at how I want to play this game, I stuck to my core values and it got me here, which was always, and I've reiterated this to everyone, have fun, make friends, and do a little strategy while we're at it. And I think that's exactly what I've done. You look at everything in the game that I've done in the pre-merge phase, whatever. People want to say that doesn't count. It gives you that foundation to this game. At pre-merge, at OGG, I was literally in an alliance chat with everyone. Jules and Judy, Kai, myself, Memphis, me, Brian, Ilsa, Jules, everybody you want to name, I was in an alliance with them. And somehow I was never clocked. In terms of just more positioning in the game, I ended up getting swapped into new Ren, where I had my allies in Jules, I had my ally in Kai, and I made some new friends in May, Devon, and Jake. Obviously, a lot of the game that I played honestly is very social. I think a lot of the game that I've done has relied on my social game, and it might have not seemed that way until the very end, where I was not immune at Final Four. I was not immune at Final Three, and I had the allies surrounding me take me to this very spot, which is Final Two. A lot of my game has been based on me just being a good person to talk to, someone that you can count on, someone that you can rely on. And that clearly has shown throughout the gameplay that I've played this season. A big round that I view this is the Expedition round. I didn't really know Jake and Devon going into the Expedition round, yet they chose me to join them on this quest because A, if they thought it was a safety chain, or B, they just wanted to build trust with me. I went into that round with both of my idols, by the way. I found the idol from OGG, and I found it in OG Ren, and I had 2 idols going into the Expedition with my name being thrown out. Did I really think I was going home? No, because I had such a great relationship with Brian, a very solid relationship with Ilsa, and a good enough relationship with Jake and Devon where I knew I wasn't going home. But my game plan was to act scared, act nervous, so people didn't think I have not only 1 idol, but 2. So everything turned out to plan. I lost a close ally in Brian, who I was very aligned with, and you can tell by the way that he left the game, making a comment about me or whatnot. He felt burned. But ultimately, I made the merge with not only 2 idols, but a lot of allies in between. And from that point on, I think my merge game is honestly something that wasn't very present. And for someone that kind of goes by this shtick as Riz God, and all this stupid things. You would think I'm this egotistical, cocky motherfucker, but at the end of the day, I like to think I'm a pure soul at heart. I have great conversations with everyone, and I feel like at the end of the day, I played my game on a very social and strategic plane. And what I mean by that is every time I was ever targeted in the game, I always knew about it. And yes, I had so much power in terms of allies, information, and idols. But at the end of the day, there is not one round in this game that you can tell me I was going to go home. At Merge, I was able to work with OGG and work with Jinx and May to cultivate a 7-6-4-2-1 vote. Yes, May predicted it or whatnot, but ultimately it all came down to my relationships with OGG and us going to work with a very chaotic Ren tribe to get out a very social threat in Devon. You look at the next round with Jake. Jake to me was someone that I really, really enjoyed playing the game with, but with him being in Lake Tahoe and just calling with May and Jinx, ultimately it led me and a lot of the other G members to make a play to flip on him because he wasn't with us. Before I really go into more of the moves that I've made, I think a lot of this game is about information, and I think I had a lot of that. Obviously, I'm not here to say I played this perfect game. I'm very aware to know that I slipped. I took a misstep. But one thing I'm very proud about my game is my adaptability. You look at Survivor, and a lot of people always mess up because they think Survivor is a sprint when in reality...
Rizzo, your 30-second warning.
Okay. You think Survivor is about sprinting and getting to the end when in reality it's a marathon. And I think with the game moves that I've made this season, it's proven that. Everybody likes to say, Rizzo, don't vote me out. Don't vote me out. You're next. You're next. It happened with Daniel. It happened with Gabby. It happened with Ilsa. Yet I somehow, with my social relationships and my strategic play, have made it to the end here at Final 2. I didn't win my way out. I didn't immunity my way here. I was brought here due to my social and strategic maneuvering. And I can't wait to hear what questions you guys have for me because I'm ready to share all of it. Is this where I sing or something? I'm done, I guess.
No, you're good. Sorry, it took me a second to click the button. Anyway, thank you both for those opening speeches. We are now moving into the jury questioning portion of the evening. So our first juror will be joining us momentarily, and it is, you know them and you love them, Devon. So as soon as Devon hops on the stream, they will have 10 minutes to question both of you. And this is the fun time where I have to fill dead space because links take time to send to people. So that's really fun, but I hope you both are very excited. And
Here
what perfect timing. Here they are. All right, Devon, your time will go ahead and start. Oh no, camera went away. Devon, you went off camera. We love technical difficulties here at Utopia. Would not be the first time this has happened, and it will not be the last.
Sounds about right.
Well, during this commercial break, I just want to let all the viewers know that Utopia 8's FTC finale is brought to you by Poland Spring. Whenever you're thirsty, drink some water. You won't be parched.
And Barcelona question mark? It's something on a matchbook. That makes fire. Survivor's all about making fire, I think.
All right, just 1 second. Devon had to hop off the stream. They should be back momentarily.
Pulling it, you guys.
Yeah, we're doing great. Doing great.
Oh, they're back.
Fantastic. Hello, Devon.
Hi, bitches. Hold on, let me check my...
Hey, Devon.
Wait, let me pause this stream so that I don't hear myself talking. Hi, bitches. It's me, Miss Bradley. Oh my god! Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, I just wanted to make sure I look hot because, I like my camera time. Hi, congratulations on making to the end. I know some of the jury is bitter, but we can't ignore the fact that you guys made it and we didn't, so who gives a fuck? But I have a pretty long-winded question for you both. I typically play games socio-strategically, and when I say that, I mean that I use my social prowess to strategically move through the game by leaking information at certain points and so on and so forth. So I want to know what you guys think each of the jury members and the person sitting next to you, what their weakest social strategical aspect of their game is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Who do you want to go first?
Oh, let's have May. You can go first.
Okay. So I'll go through everyone in order, starting with you, Devon. I think the weakest part of your game is that you were never able to make me feel comfortable. I don't think I was the only person who felt this way. That even though nominally we were allied and that we were with each other, I never felt like I never felt like you necessarily like 100% stood with me. You never gave me that comfort, and that's ultimately what made me very comfortable turning on you in the first merge round. Jake would be second. I think Jake's weakest aspect was not necessarily maybe getting like too fixated on things almost. Like I don't know exactly how I describe this, but struggling to let certain things go and sort of look forward and continuing to like soberly figure out like what was best going forward. Okay, and the next would have been Jules, and Jules, I think the weakest part of your game to some degree was self-doubt and worry. I think for up until that very last round where you went, you had played the single best game of anybody up to that point, and you were set up so well to go so far, but I think you got too into trying to figure out all of the possibilities and solve all of your problems, go all the way out to final two, and that ultimately ended up biting you. Next up after that would be Gabby, unless I'm mistaken. Let me know if I forget anybody, by the way. Gabby, the strongest and the weakest part of your game was the sheer chaos of it. It is a strength in the sense that you certainly always have the possibility to make things happen, to make moves. But I think ultimately everybody got move fatigue, and the sheer number of times that you flipped was led to nobody, even though you weren't necessarily in the strongest position in the game, nobody felt like it was safe to keep you around since it just wasn't predictable whether they'd be able to trust you in a round or two. Okay. Daniel, the weakest part of your game was probably you kind of opposite of my criticism. Devon did an amazing job making everybody feel comfortable all of the time. I think everybody liked you so much, and even if like a game low liked you, I told you literally to your face, like I'm not sure if I ever believed that you really wanted to like fully bring me all the way there, that I was ever that close of an ally with you, but every time I talked to you, I felt that way. That's a strength. The weakness is that ultimately you made everybody feel that way by not necessarily making promises you couldn't keep, but by talking to everybody on that level of like being like one of their closest friends, like one of their closest allies. And the problem is that we can all read the room. We can all see that, somebody who's that close to everybody isn't that close to anybody. And so I think that's ultimately what sent you home. Ilsa, you played a really, really brilliant game, but in some ways, I think this is going to sound silly, but the strongest part, the weakest part of your game was how strong it was. The fact that you basically you did not manage to quell the perception that you had played such an amazing game, the best game of anybody, the ultimate social game in which you were on the wrong side of nothing and did everything right. And I think if you actually manage to play too well, that can become a weakness too, because it makes nobody want to keep with you past 4.
Production, how much time do we have left?
You still have 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll just last one fast. Kai, I think your biggest weakness. See, I know better now. I know that you actually did play pretty hard, but I think you could have used to turn on that smart strategic, that smart ally like brain of yours, and a little faster. It's not that you weren't doing it, it's that the perception wasn't that you were doing it. And I think it would have helped you to have appeared as a little more of like an independent threat and a little more somebody who people should really, 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 really want on their side. And okay, that's all of them. Oh, and then Rizzo. I think it's kind of funny. I think the weak. I thought of everybody else. I haven't thought of. I think the weakest part of your game was. I don't think you necessarily like. Yes, you survived, and yes, you always had allies, but it never felt like you were actually wielding power necessarily. Like in the sense that I never felt like, and you feel free to correct my perception, that you were like the driving force behind many things that happen in this game. You were always there, and you were very much more often than not on the right side of things. But you feel free to correct my perception. But that was it for me. That you were a little bit less behind stuff.
All right, I guess I'll kind of take it away. Obviously, Devon, I'll answer your questions first, and then if we have time, I'll address May's. But when it comes to you, Devon, I think I actually disagree with May. I think you did a great job making people feel good about you. I think the only thing that kind of flawed, or like what was the flaw in your game, is that you made so many people feel so good with you when they connected the dots and talked about you. They were like, whoa, Devon has my back too. Yeah, he has my back as well. It almost came back to them where it was like, if Devon has all of our backs, he has nobody's back. So I think that was your flaw, was just mismanaging or just not managing how everybody kind of felt about you in terms of close allies, because at the end of the day, everyone felt great with you, but that just meant that you were playing a great social game. When it came to Jake, I think Jake lacked adaptability in a sense. Like whenever there was something that didn't go his way, he was just like, oh, damn, like that sucks. Like what's going to happen? Like when you got voted out, Devon, like in my perspective, I would have, just like how when Jules got voted out, I would have went to everyone trying to make something happen, trying to cause people to go against each other. And I think Jake's flaw was that he was just kind of down in the dumps. And it sucked that he was on vacation at Lake Tahoe. But I think the people that he went to, like a May and a Jinx, just didn't benefit his game when he could have flipped on OGG, or flipped to OGG rather. When it comes to Jules, I think the only mistake that Jules had was she played a little too hard at the end. She had everybody closely aligned with her. She had multiple people thinking that she would go to the end with them, but she ended up making some missteps with Ilsa, with other people just saying, oh, Rizzo has the idol, because the only person in the game that knew about my idols at the time was Jules. And I felt like Jules was trying a little too hard to secure her spot at the end, that people started to realize Jules's position in the game, like Ilsa, and ultimately making that move at 7. And it was a misstep on my part because I got too comfortable. But obviously with Jules leaving, it gave me a wake-up call. When it comes to Gabby, I think everybody knows Gabby was very chaotic. And I think Gabby's flaw was, after blindsiding me at 7, thinking I would be willingly open to work with her, she spilled everything in terms of the dynamics at that final 7 round to me. And I ultimately made it my duty to use it against her to make her the next target. But not only did I do that, I started to pit Daniel and Ilsa against each other, which ultimately led to the downfall of that 4 majority voting block going home, 6-5-4-3, until me and May are the final 2. When it comes to Daniel, I think Daniel's critique more so comes that he didn't really give himself a lot of credit. He kind of played like from a passenger in a sense. Like he always told me and a lot of people, hey, I don't want to say name. I don't want to say name as long as it's not me. I think that's the perception that he wanted to give, when in reality that wasn't the correct perception. But I think if he was a little bit more forward, which he was to me at Final 5, he said,
Devon, you have about a minute left. So we'll just letting you know, and we'll
okay. This is the only question I have. So
yeah. So like I was saying, Daniel really didn't push any narratives until it really got down to it, which he did at 5. He said, Rizzo, play this idol on me. It's going to be the biggest move of the season. And yes, it would have been the biggest move of the season. Was it going to be flashy? Absolutely. But if I did that, I'm not here right now. I ultimately set myself up. And I even told Daniel, I even told Gabby, me voting you out is the best thing for me, because it's going to get me here based on the people I set myself up with. And that's exactly what happened. You go to Ilsa's game. Ilsa played a fucking flawless game. She played beautifully. The only thing that didn't happen in Ilsa's game is her sitting in these 2 seats. And the only reason for that is she just didn't manage her threat level properly. Once she took out Jules, who was the top threat of this game, she didn't do a good job making sure that there was other big shields in front of her. Yeah, she had Gabby. Yeah, she had Daniel. But when it came down to Final Four, her closest ally in Kai honestly flipped on her without me really doing anything crazy about it. And then you go to Kai. I honestly think Kai sitting next to me or sitting next to May could have swept the jury, could have played a perfect game. Kai was very unassuming in a sense that you didn't think he was doing anything, when in reality he was doing a lot. I think his perception, or his flaw rather, was just maybe coming to me or coming to other people a little too late, in a sense. Like, me and Kai were always very close in the game, and Kai did mention to me that he wanted to take
We're
it
gonna
in the
have
end.
to wrap it up.
All right. But long story short, when it comes to that, I just think that Kai could have just been a little bit more.
May real quick.
I just think May kind of, I don't want to say she rode coattails, because she definitely didn't, but I think May, when she had power, was at an all-time high, and when she didn't, she was relying on making sure that she wasn't the vote.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Congrats.
Thanks, Devon.
All right, for our next juror, we have Jake. Jake is at Coachella because apparently that's happening this weekend, if you haven't heard. So we have a video from Jake with his questions. So let me get this shared. All right, can everyone see okay? Great. Let's do this. I'll stop in between questions so we can answer, and then we'll continue with it.
Hello, everyone. Hello, happy FTC. Hi, May and Rizzo. Congratulations on making Final 2. Utopia history, very iconic, very proud. Love you all very much. I am obviously not online, so I'm going to make this very quick. And I hope that these questions make sense and give me some clarity as to who I should vote for and who has the better final game. Alrighty. So first, what I'd like to know from each of you is how you think the other player did, specifically critiquing each other's game. And what I'd like to know is what the other player did, something that they did within their gameplay that made you cringe, something that you were like, that is a bad game, and they're probably not going to make it far because of whatever move that is. And if you can't think of anything, that's fine. But I'm just curious, is there something that sticks out to you as bad game? I also have 2 questions.
All right, I'm going to let you both answer that first question. May, why don't you go first?
I see. I just get to go first today. Yeah, you'll get to go first next time, Rizzo. Okay, sure. So, I'm not gonna lie and say I ever looked at Rizzo and said, oh, this person's never gonna go far. This person's playing a really bad game. We really have talked and say how we do really respect each other's games. The neither of us play perfectly, but I actually make that clear. So I think it's gonna be a lot of us talking bad about each other's games back and forth. But anyway, that wasn't the question. The question is the moment that most makes you question things. Sure, so for me, it's probably 2 things. Number one, playing the first, and this is a mistake I made too, but playing the first idol on himself during the chaos round. I know he did get quite a few votes, but I think Rizzo talked a lot about how he has had the most information maybe in the game. I don't know that I agree with that perception, but the information was core to his game, and if he had that much information, he should have been able to clearly read that that his odds of going that round were really low, and holding on to the double idol would have been really, really large amount of power, even using it more offensively rather than using I guess the fact that you had so much game power that you had 2 idols and you used both for safety at times and you didn't need it instead of securing an outcome that you wanted that might have been against the grain, to me is like the biggest missed opportunity in your game. And I wouldn't call it cringe, but I think it's something you could have done differently. That yes, you're standing here now. That would have given you an even stronger case.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go. I'll kind of just rebuttal that just really quick. I think in terms of that move, it wasn't more so about me granting safety, but it was more so about me playing the idol offensively. I knew that May had the merge idol due to her telling me. So ultimately, the reason why I played it is I knew that they were targeting me, and I knew that I wasn't getting the votes. But I had 2 idols, so I said, "Hey, let's burn May's idol. Let's burn one of my idols. I know that there won't be any more idols in the game besides my own." And ultimately forcing her to play hers and burn her extra vote. So that's the reason why I did that. In terms of a critique of May's game, if that's what Jake was referring to, I guess more so about the cringe part. I don't like using that word because
same,
yeah,
not at all cringe.
I don't think like cringe is the right word, but in terms of like one thing that May did that was like, whoa, like I can't believe how, like why would May do that, is in the first 2 rounds of merge, May is very blunt, which I respect so wholeheartedly, but May, at least not only to me, but went to a lot of other people like, the vote's going to be 76421, or the vote that Daniel and Jake, the vote's going to be Daniel. Everyone says it's going to be Daniel. It's going to be 9-1 or 7-1 or whatever it was. Very forward. And like, yes, I respect that. But at the same time, it's like, damn, like you're banking on everyone keeping their word. So it's like, I don't know how that's going to turn out. And obviously it turned out that Jake ended up going home due to that. Not more so due to that, but it was just like, I don't think Daniel was going home 7-1. So that was one thing where I was like, whoa, I don't know if that was great.
I do note that I never did explicitly tell you that vote total. I only said that in the Alliance of 5 and in my prod chat. I don't think I ever explicitly told you that exact vote total until after the vote. But yeah, I think we can get the rest of Jake's questions.
All right.
One for each of you separately. First, for May, I would like to know, obviously that you've played like a very transparent game. You've been very forthcoming with a lot of folks about whether or not you be with them at the end or continue with them. Do you think that helped or hurt your game? And I'm curious, do you honestly think that you ran the game, or do you think that you were just kept around because you weren't perceived as a threat, and that would be a good excuse to pull out for FTC? Just a thought.
Okay, yeah, those are fair questions. Okay, so to address the first question, which was, I was very transparent. I would argue that I wanted the perception of my transparency. I was transparent where it was fine for me to be and not transparent where it wasn't fine. I think actually one of the biggest things that game that I didn't talk about so much during the opening speech that I'm proud of is that I was able to permanently give tons of information to people to the point where they felt comfortable with me, felt like they could rely on me without telling them the things that it really mattered for them not to know. For instance, there was some perception that Jules and I talked, but nobody except Jinx and I guess anyone Jules might have told. The only person I ever told was Jinx. That Jules and I were that close. That Jules was like really like one of my apps eyes. And again, Jules might have told other people. I never said that to anyone else. That was something that mattered for me to keep hidden, and I kept it hidden. I would say that I was never transparent without calculating at first. Every time I told something to somebody, that was deliberate. I wanted them to know that, and I wanted them to hear it from me. I was never just leaking for the sake of leaking. That bluntness was intentional. Number 2, do I think I was really running the game? The way I would put it is that the game is a stream of lots of things and lots of ideas and lots of stuff happening, run by however many players are in it. You only have, one of the big lessons of my gaming background is you only have as much agency as you have. You can never control everything. So the idea of anyone running the game to me is illogical. But I would say my position in the game was, and the way I played it intentionally, was that I used, a lot of thinking, a lot of getting the lay of the land to try to perceive where everybody was, what they wanted out of the game, and what they wanted to do in a round. And I said, is this within the range of things that are good for me? If it was, I did what I had to do to help it happen, to make other people know I was comfortable with it happening, and to let it happen. Because ultimately, trying to overexert your personal agency and push the stream somewhere it doesn't want to go is how you get yourself voted out. I would say that the idea, I would never say that I ran the game, but I would say that I played a game where, except for, I talked about in my beginning, there were a couple rounds where I stumbled, but except for those rounds, Everything that happened for the whole game was both predictable and well within the range of things that I was fine with happening. I only pushed when things were working really far against me. I pushed at Final 6, I pushed at Final 5. Brizzo, I don't think you can take full credit for those moves. I was as much there with you. We were equally there with each other. We both knew what we wanted. We agreed on how to do it. And we both went out and made those happen. So yeah, I pushed what it mattered. Otherwise, I went with the flow and let things that were going to help me happen without me having to push them.
Okay. Let's move on to the next questions from Jake.
And then my question's for Rizzo. Rizzo, how do you think having 2 idols affected your gameplay? Because obviously, many of us were not in the boat. Most of us, if not all, were not in that boat. And having 2 idols, do you think that weakened your ability to have a winning argument? I don't know. Do you think that you deserved that second idol, considering that you put in no effort to get it? I don't know. Just let me know. Let me know what you think. Good luck to both of you. Love you both. Peace out. Good luck. Bye.
Yeah, no, so to answer Jake, obviously I think there was an ongoing perception of me using idols to get to this spot here. And I think did they help benefit me? Sure. But realistically, at the end of the day, I never needed to play either of them. And I feel like that's a testament to my social and strategic game. My game was based on knowing when to push certain narratives and when to let stuff happen. I think the final 8 vote, which is arguably what I feel like is my defining moment in a sense of really having control. I would agree with May. I don't think necessarily one exact person ruled the entire game. There was no mastermind. There have been masterminds not only in Utopia but Survivor. There's people that control every single vote. And I'm not saying I've done that. I don't think I have. But what I think I've done is positioned myself every single round. That final 8 round, everybody came to me talking about May and Jinx pushing my name. And realistically, I knew about this all-women's, all-female alliance since the first round of Merge. So that's just another thing that I was aware of. When everybody is coming to me telling me, Rizzo, you are getting the votes, you should play your idol. Realistically, I had 5 people I knew for a fact weren't going to write my name down. But when I have 2 idols, knowing that another person who's pushing my name has an idol, why not flush that because I have one in my back pocket? Ultimately, I could have kept my idol at 8, but then May would have had her idol at 7. So it was more so of an offensive move for me to have another idol flush in the game. And then at final 5, yes, I won immunity at 7, and then I won immunity at 6. But like this perception that I was this huge comp beast, like at the end of the day, I just won 2 competitions. That's all it was. At final 5, I was never the vote. Was it because I had the idol and no one wanted to put votes on me? Sure. But at the end of the day, I had plenty of opportunities to go home. I could have went home at 9. I could have went home at 10. I could have went home in the expedition round. I could have went pre-merge, but no one ever put my name out there. So why do I need to burn idols? People suspected it, but nobody knew for sure until I played it at 8 and until Jules started telling multiple people after that. At final 5, could I have been the flashy guy? Could I have made the move? Yes, but my game wasn't flashy. It was calculated. It was knowing when to make the right decisions. It was knowing what to put myself in the certain position to make it far. Like I said, Daniel pitched.
Let's wrap it up.
Yes, Daniel pushed such a great argument for me to idle. But if I idle him, I'm the target at 4. I break May and I break Kai's trust, and I'm going to fire. I didn't go on fire at 4. I got taken at 3, not being immune. So no, I don't think the idols played the factor to why I'm here, but sure, they did help me get here.
All right, and we will bring in our next juror, Jules.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I'm like scared. I'm like nervous. Like this is my FTC. Yeah, I miss the both of you a lot, and I just want to start off by saying thank you to the both of you because I really enjoyed playing with y'all so much, and I feel like especially for the 2 of you, like you were not just my allies but also my friends. Like Rizzo, I would not have survived pre-merge without you. I think I actually would have died. That is not what I set my name to, by the way. But yeah, I guess congrats on being final 2, and also congrats on being on the right side of history. I am really glad that I can vote for someone who didn't vote me out. So that's always nice. And Yeah, I guess sort of along those lines, Rizzo, my question first goes to you. At Final 7, you were blindsided and you lost what I think was your number one, I think. And your idols were public information, or your idol, not through any fault of my own. I didn't say that you had it. I said you might. So I just want to talk about, or I want you to talk about how you recovered from that, because I feel like you played the end game part of your game really perfectly. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking me. Yes, you were my number one ally. I told you everything. I told you I had 2 idols in the game. So I don't know what other way proves that you're my number one ally. But I think in terms of just you going home, like I said, I was never someone that really put my foot down on certain situations because I just knew my perception without anyone knowing me. They look at this guy, they look at me, Riz got all the Facebook comments. Oh my God, he's blah, 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 blah. I got to be chill. I'm a calm, cool, collected guy. I got blindsided for the first time in the game when you got voted out because I'm a dumbass and I really thought in an org at Final 7, it would be a unanimous vote. I was immune. It was a misstep on my part. I admit it. Going into after that round, it was all about survival, but really figuring out a way to really make the end game without relying on this stupid idol. I go to May well, actually, no, Gabby calls me and Gabby's, all happy about she pulled off this blind side, really like calling me, Rizzo, now it's time to flip the script. Now it's time to flip on Ilsa and everything. Ultimately, my goal was to gather all the information that I could to now flip the script on Gabby and have everybody flip on her. So my game plan was all about survival, but strategically placing myself in better positions at the end. While I was throwing Gabby under the bus to Ilsa, to Kai, to the people that I could rely on previously, I would go to Daniel and be like, listen, Ilsa's a threat in this game. Like Ilsa can't make it any farther. And then I go to Ilsa and I'm like, all right, Gabby's got to go. But like Daniel is a comp beast. Like Daniel has a great story. He's got 2 locked votes in jury. So ultimately my game was making sure people had other guns pointing at each other. And then me just kind of fading in the background. Final 6, I was a maniac. I looked at every single Utopia challenge ever around this time. And I studied my ass off, which is why I blew everybody out of the water in the memory challenge. So I put myself in a position at 6. I put myself in a position at 5 where I would never be the vote because I had the idol. I pointed guns at Daniel and Ilsa. Everybody started targeting Ilsa and Gabby. And come Final 4, when Ilsa didn't win immunity, I was kind of like Takai. And obviously me and May were very tight after your blind side because we're a 4-2 minority. I went to Kai and I was just like, Ilsa, right? Like she's going to win the game. And he really gave me no pushback. So ultimately, Final 3, I'm in a Final 3 making 100% the end. I win, I'm at the end. I'm with Kai, Kai takes me. I'm with May, May takes me. I had Kai throw me the endurance challenge when I didn't even ask him. If that isn't social strategic game at its finest, I don't know what is. I wanted to prove to people I didn't need idols and I didn't need immunities to get here. And in the 2 most crucial parts of this game at Final 4 and Final 3, I had 3 people vote to save me. I had a Final 3 with 2 people willing to take me, and I was taken to the end. So that argument, which I was trying to combat, I think is deaded in my eyes. So that's kind of my game at the end game.
Okay, thank you. Also, I did not tell people your idol. I said you might have it. Okay, don't be mad. Okay, May, I guess sort of along the same lines as Rizzo, I think the end game, like boot order, was perfect for both of you, not just Rizzo. But from my perspective, it is really easy for me to see where Rizzo might have had influence over those votes, because I know, for instance, that in like the Gabby vote that he took credit for my live night vote, or he blamed Ilsa for my live night vote, probably knowing full well that like it was me at that point that voted for Gabby to leave. So like there are just these things that have come out that I can see like Rizzo's influence in the Gabby, Daniel, Ilsa, Kai like stretch of the game. And I think that boot order was honestly really beneficial for the both of you. But I just want to know where your influence was in those last 4 votes before Final 2.
So here's where it was. It was in 2 places. First of all, no, Rizzo did not know that. Rizzo believed you completely until I told him otherwise. I could go back and find logs right now of that. That he did not.
Did you know at the point that Gabby left, when you went to Gabby and told Gabby that it was Ilsa, at that point, did you know that it was me?
No, I didn't. But what I did was just tell her like, hey, that happened. I was just throwing everybody under the bus at that point, which is ultimately whatever. But yes, no, I didn't know full force till May confirmed it to me.
Oh, sorry.
After that.
Sorry for cutting you off, May. I
Yeah,
was just
no,
curious.
you're good. You're good. No, so yeah, so that was so basically, I think it's funny to think this is a funny perception for Rizzo to get all this credit for the final 6-5-4-3 because we planned 100% of that together in calls and DMs. I have, in my opinion, at least 50% of the credit to take too, and it's simply because I looked over every possibility. I looked over every single person winning immunity. I found options, like for instance, it didn't happen, but I brought up, okay, what if we got rid of Kai at Final 5 instead of Daniel, because it has the highest odds of avoiding a fire at Final 4. That didn't end up being the option. But my point is, I was thinking through all of this, I was talking about Rizzo, and then I was going to those people and using my trademark bluntness, all these same things that Rizzo was telling them, like, hey, Daniel's a comp beast. He has secured votes. He can be a threat. I was saying the same things to Ilsa. I was going to Ilsa and saying the same things, and saying going to Ilsa and saying things like Daniel, going to Daniel and saying, you know, if any Neos are saying next to Ilsa, we're just going to lose, right? All of the same thing. I was going to Kai, and you know, I love Kai. It was fantastic to talk to get to play the game for so long with Kai, but same deal. You know, like, we just can't win next to Ilsa. We need to get rid of Daniel. Again, all of these moves were done completely together, and ultimately, I can say that if Kai, I'm confident if Kai won final immunity, he probably would have taken Rizzo. He can feel free to prove me wrong. I was willing to accept that risk. I didn't think that was something I could change, and I wasn't going to ultimately push Kai away trying to force that. I would make my argument, it would go how it will, and this was sort of always part of my game, that I was not willing to fight when I thought fighting would make my position currently worse. Basically, I was not going to fight against possibilities. Basically, I was not going to fight against the possibility of something getting worse for me in the future when it made my position now worse. That was a very consistent theme of my entire game. And so basically I would say we played the exact same final 6. We were playing it together. We knew we wanted to be final 2 from the moment you left. So we played the same game. We worked together on all those moves.
Can I say one thing, Jules? Do I agree with May? Yes, but I think the one step further that I took alongside May is I had other options just in case if May wasn't there. You can ask Ilsa and Kai. I had a final 3 with them at final 4. If May didn't win immunity and it didn't work out and I had to force May to fire, whatever, I had different options. Yes, May was my final 2, but I had other options to go with if shit hit the fan and things didn't work out. So
for the record, I did consider turning on you too. I evaluated the possibility and decided it wasn't good. I could have gone to them. I could have made the same options. I didn't want them. I saw this as the best game. I saw this as the most likely game to happen, and I made it happen.
Okay. Rizzo, one more question for you. So this is inspired by Brian. Shout out to Brian Preacher. Your next game, Final 4. It's me, Kelly Farmer, Annalyn, you. Who do you trust to not cut you at 4 the most out of all 4 of us?
Wow, this is crazy. I mean, I guess technically you never voted me out, so we'll go with you.
I never voted you out.
Yeah,
okay, thank you. I don't know how much time I have left. The only thing I have left to say is my name is supposed to be my Political Divas 5 pregame alliance. DMs are open. Oh, yay, thank you. Okay, yeah, that's it. I don't really have anything else to say, but should I leave?
All right. Yeah, Jules, if you're done, you can go ahead and hop off. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
And we're just waiting for our next juror to join us. Very exciting. We're getting through. We're crossing that halfway point. Yes. Very exciting. And feeling more dead air. Clearly, I'm really good at this. Great.
Hi. I have a script because one, I want to say in full transparency, I am so hungover right now. It like if I get up to have to throw up, that's literally where I'm at. I took a sip of alcohol and I'm done. Okay, first of all, congrats. I'm so happy. Blah, 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 bullshit, because I'm really not that fucking happy. Honestly, this was not the final 2 I wanted, nor the final 2 I expected, but both of you proved me wrong and have played great games that got you to this spot, so I can't say anything. Congratulations. I was going to be really mean. And make you guys be poor sports to each other because I feel like that's one of the reasons I got voted out of this game, but I knew neither of you would commit and it would be really boring, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually play a game with the both of you. So I need you to have like either a piece of paper or you can have a phone with your little Snapchat, Rizzo. Also, I'm also going to be in Political Divas. My DMs are open too. Let me know when you're ready. Great. Okay. So this is a game called Keep or Swap. I've decided who I'm voting for tonight. 150% I'm voting for that person. But you both have the power to change that. So on your piece of paper, you can either write keep or you can either write swap. If both of you put keep, I'll keep my vote the same. I will vote the way I said I was going to vote coming into this. If both of you pick swap, I'm going to swap my vote. Boom, boom. I'm voting for the person who I didn't think should win the game. But if one of you picks keep and one of you picks swap, I'm going to try to put it on a wheel. I might have to have Molly do that for me because I literally don't know how to do that. But I'll put your names on a wheel. We'll spin it around and that will randomize who I'm voting for. Do you understand? Great. So you have a couple seconds. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. I should be a host. This is so fun. Great. I'm going to count down from 3. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Love you guys. Congrats on final 2. Can't wait to vote for a winner.
Love her.
All right. Now we are moving on to our 5th juror. Just waiting for him to join. Give us a second. But again, we're making our way to the end. We only have a few more jurors. And here we go.
Hey y'all, what's poppin'? I'm in my fucking shower. We're gonna get to that whole situation later. But first off, I'm gonna say what fucking pisses me off the most. I love you both, but I swear to God, if one of you claims to have like influenced my view on Ilsa at that fucking Final 5, I'm gonna shoot the shit out of you. I will literally fucking kill you to death. Ever since Ilsa came to me at Final 7 and said, we need to get Jules out, I said, oh yeah, she needs to go ASAP. So I don't want to hear you guys fucking claim anything about your, like, pinning people against each other, because that was already a done fucking deal. Anyways, let's go to why I'm really in the shower. So I want you guys to make a splash, all right? The whole reason, a lot of people on this jury thinks that, like, you guys didn't play flashy games and you guys didn't like do anything super cool. You guys didn't make that splash. So I want you to prove it to me right now that you made the splash. If you can tell me in any way, shape, or form how you made a splash, if you mentioned pre-merge specifically, I also want to kind of get your pre-merge vibes because like pre-merge is a very big thing for me. So if you're able to comment on that at all, that's also very big. Yeah, I'm shaking right now because I really don't fucking want to get wet in my fucking clothes. And this is my favorite hat, so don't fuck this up for me. But I also want you to prove yourselves. Like, make me get wet. Get me wet, girly. Get me wet, you know? So we'll start off with Rizzo. How did you make a splash in this game? Tell me what you did, and it better be you alone that you made this splash. So go ahead.
I just want to let you know that I'm going to make this wet like water, like I'm Steph Curry in the 4th. You're going to be drowning like it's the Pacific Ocean, brother. So this is why
you ain't appealing to my sports knowledge here, boy. This better be all you did.
And like I said, I'm going to make it wet. I'm going to make you whatever, drenched in whatever you want to be drenched in. But in terms of just the pre-merge game especially, I think my big thing is just really connecting with people. I think I have a great just time connecting with people on that first call. I don't want to sit here and say that I put in hours and hours and hours into everyone, because I don't think I did. But I think what's one thing about me that's very great is I can sit on a call with someone for the first time and it just be water. It just be magic. It be sparks flying. Daniel, I did it with you. I did it with Gabby when I talked to Gabby for 3 hours at Merge. A lot of people that I talk to, for the most part, I'm not going to say everyone, like I don't think I talked with Ilse on the first call and we talked for hours, but I think what's one thing is I put a good impression about people, and that what's propelled me to this part of the game. I think if you look at all my pre-merge relationships, everybody viewed me on the top half of their trust rankings, whether it was Brian, Jules, Kai, Ilsa, Judy, Devon, Jake, and that was clearly shown when they took me to the expedition. And then the expedition, everybody had trust in me. In terms of the splash in the game, I just think my personality and just the way that I played the game is something great to be seen. I mean, listen, you want to get wet? I'll put on the shades and put on the little persona for you, kid. I just wanted to let you know that, okay, maybe he's walking out. Maybe this wasn't good. Maybe I was trying to put on like a little show and it's not really working out. And okay, there you go. So ultimately, long story short, I think the big splash that I made in the game was obviously Live Night. I think Live Night, for once, I can confidently say that I put the narrative like, everybody thinks it's me. Let's just say we're voting May, and then let's all put on the votes on Jinx. And Daniel, you even told me yourself during the game that you think that my pull in that round was something that was impressive. And I don't mean to like I didn't mean to say like, oh, like I made Daniel the reason why he hated Ilsa. I'm not saying that, but obviously from my perception in the game, that was the conversations that we had with each other. So that's my perception of the game. I don't know how you were thinking at that time. So ultimately, I guess I'm kind of saying ultimately again, because I just want to get you wet and I think it'd be a funny bit. But I think the big part of my game is the ability to know when to zig and when to zag. And the fact that I was able to put myself in these great positions when never being the vote. I had one vote counted for me the entire season, and it was Final Four. Yes, I got votes. I negated it, but I was never going home. I was never a factor. And for someone that goes by Riz God, even though I didn't tell all you guys that in just that persona to only be the vote one time, I think it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'll give you that. May, you go ahead, go. And if you give me something that I don't agree with, I'll shut this water off, or I'll just keep it going.
Okay. So I want to start with something that I haven't mentioned at all because I don't want this to be like the narrative, but this is my first, or this is even my first like long form social deduction game ever, and so I think part of my splash, I think part of the sort of for me the splashiness of my play, the thing I really appreciate in the game is articulated long-term strategy. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but I'll get there. So pre-merge, like I said, the pre-merge part of my game, I only went to one tribal the whole time just because of the circumstance of the tribes I was on, but I did get to know everybody, and more to the point, I made sure that everybody knew me, and I made sure that people knew that I wasn't a threat, that I wasn't a big problem, and this was all very intentional. I knew I could have come into the game and from day one started talking super aggro strategy, super long-term plans, but I didn't. I didn't want that to be what people thought of me, because that's somebody who goes home. I managed to read the room, and I'm gonna be real. I don't have the same like magnetic personality as someone like Rizzo. I'm autistic. Never amazing at like. I feel awkward in conversation. It's not my strong suit to like connect super hard with people necessarily all of the time. It doesn't come naturally, so I wasn't able to rely on that, and instead, what I was able to rely on was making your relationships. One big splashy move I think was the fact that I had that like secret-ish. I mean, I would say it was relatively well hidden, a lot like very very close. Jules is never told Rizzo and I for real which of us was really her number one. We both thought she was ours at one point, but that I had that like relationship. There was Rizzo and Jules was a known quantity. Jules and I was not for the most part. And so I always had things in my back pocket. I always had more cards to pull during the game. The biggest round where I was the one who made the big splash was the Gabby round. Yes, I think everybody wanted Gabby gone, but nobody was so aggressive. I mean, I knew from the round before that I wanted Gabby gone, to be honest, and nobody was nearly as aggressive as me, but going to every single person and saying, I am done with this. I want her gone now, and that is the move I want to have happen. And everybody went along with it. And like, that was the boldest I ever was the entire game. I did try to play from behind the scenes intentionally as a articulate strategic choice, but in that one time, despite being at a position with less power, I did put my foot down and made sure that a move happened.
Okay. I will say real quick, I know Jury have talked, but we're going to talk about the Gabby vote later. But if either of you had gone back to tribal, obviously this is a hypothetical. This is not a part of your real fucking game. Like, this is basically just like getting a read on your social awareness of where you stood within your own tribe at any point in time. Pre-merge, is there ever a thought of where you think you would go home?
I can go for this one. Okay, so first vote, if Edmund hadn't been pitched, I think I might have gone. I think it would have drawn lines in the sands to do that, and I think some people would have. I think it would have been more contentious than Edmund going. Subsequently, if we had gone to tribal again, I think there's reasonable odds I would have gone on account of me being not so around the first few days. I felt like I was I think people felt like they could be relatively solid with me, and maybe it would have been able to be like pushed to like a Jake vote or even maybe a you vote, Daniel. But I think there are very real odds if we had gone to tribal again, I could have gone, if I'm being honest.
Okay. What about swap? Do you think it was
swap,
like
if we had gone to swap vote, I think it would have been one of the G people going. That one's hard to know because we did know y'all were like throwing those challenges. Or at least that was the perception, and we didn't think we were going to vote. But if we had, I think it would have been one of the G people going. I think Jake and Devon had my back, but that was sort of more of like a possibility than it was a reality. I think we would have ended up targeting maybe Rizzo, actually, funny enough.
okay, gotcha. Rizzo, how about you?
I think when I look at the votes that I attended pre-merge, Madeline, I was definitely not going home. Memphis, I was definitely not going home. I don't think there was any world that I would have went home in the first phase of the game. Swap, honestly, this really just comes down to Devon and Jake. My perception, and based on what I saw in the game, they would have kept us, and they were probably going to vote out May. Only reason why I can say that is just based on the conversations I had with them and the proof of the conversations being valid with them taking me to Expedition. Whether they thought it was a twist or whether they told me that they thought it was a safety chain, them picking me felt like I was somebody that they trusted. Is there a way that I could have went home in the Expedition? Yes, it was possible because my name was thrown out by Jinx, but it was never a real possibility. I think I kind of played up that factor that I was really nervous, trying to hide the fact that I was very confident. And maybe people thought I had an idol. I had the dying trust of Brian, who was willing to pull rocks for me. Jake and Devon, who brought me to this very reason because they wanted to work with me. And I had a good prior relationship with Ilsa. So genuinely, not even trying to be that cocky, I don't really see many, if any, possibilities of me going home. The only one possibly being is at that Expedition round.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm not gonna confirm or deny. I'm just gonna let the jurors make their own decision based on what they've just heard. For me, I think my vote ends up coming down to just awareness in general, just overall how the game was played. From like people that discount the pre-merge, I gotta turn this shit off. This is so fucking annoying. I'm already drenched. It's kind of just it's useless at this point. Like I'm already wet. It's no point in getting more wet. But I think going forward, my one tip of advice for you guys going into these last two questions is talk about your fucking threat levels, dude, and how you guys were able to diminish that. Like Rizzo, coming into merge, you were the biggest threat. May, you were one of the biggest factors in that first merge vote, and then like obviously being blindsided diminishes your threat level, but like talk about that shit. I want to know how you diminished your threat level. Like fucking go in on that shit. So like, we want to hear more of that shit. We want to hear, like, obviously we've heard a bunch about your games, but like me personally, I want to hear about how you fucking diminished your fucking threat level, because that shit's sick to me. Because like obviously you look at every single person who's gone home, they all were a threat in different ways, and like you guys were kind of being like, oh, like they're not a threat because of this, while everyone else was a threat because of this. So just keep going into that. Can someone kick me off, because I don't want to like break my laptop. That's all I had. I don't want to break my laptop and like get water in it and shit.
All right.
Well, Jen, just give me a second. Before you go, Dan, I just want to let you know that I did the bit too. I poured water on my head, and I hope you saw that.
I didn't see that shit.
My hair is a little wet for you, King, so.
I will kill you dead. You lost my vote. May, congrats. It's still up in the air. Close the shower.
All right. Our sixth juror, Ilsa, take it away.
Hello, you guys look amazing. You guys are very beautiful. I think you both played a great game. I go back to when I said that I do think that the three of you, including Kai, are very deserving to be here 100%. I do want to say, I think for both of you, I will say the biggest flaw was I never genuinely felt super connected with you guys. I think you guys could have, like you both, like, and confirming with other juror members, like I don't think throughout the whole game, like your intentions were to work with me. I think a big flaw on May's part was creating that alliance of that five that we had with Pretty Little Liars, just because I didn't have a close connection with May. So I was just like, what is going on here? Like I need to really talk to these people. And then Rizzo, I I think you've heard, like, I don't think we had a genuine connection at first, even at, like, you brought up Expedition Island. Like, I probably would have tried my best to take you out, but I just think that we didn't have like a good connection. I don't think either of you tried to make me feel as safe until moving forward. I think Rizzo did a great job on that, 100%. I do want to ask, I didn't really have a good question. I was going to ask you guys to perform a Nicki Minaj song, but I'm gonna be serious because I think you guys are very deserving of being here. You guys made it. I didn't. I can't say shit. Also sorry if you hear the Discord notice, but I want to say, I want each of you to talk about why you deserve to win over that other person, you know? So I will let Rizzo start. I think your first few questions, you didn't get much time, and I really wanted to hear you out. So, Rizzo, I'll let you start, but why are you deserving for this win, and why you should be winning instead of May, basically?
Yeah, and honestly, the org world has meant so much to me in the last 4 years, and everybody's known because I made it very much known. I came out of retirement. That's what every orger say. But I didn't play a game for about 2 years. So I was coming into something new. And ultimately, I wanted to stick by my morals for once. I will say back in my day, I was a shitty person. I don't know. Okay, shitty person, no. But I was like, I would promise people things I didn't keep. I was a villain per se. I was like a Gabby back in the day. But I said to myself, listen, I'm going to come back. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to play social strategy. And I'm going to be a man of my word. And ultimately, I think besides Final 3 with Kai, I lived up to everything that I said in this game. I think when you look at a Survivor winner or just someone in terms of orgs, you look at three things about a Survivor winner: outwit, outplay, outlast. I genuinely think I represent all those three things. When you talk about the outwit portion of the game, where you have to socially maneuver with people, when you have to just think about when to move in certain directions, I think I've done that. I made pretty much great relationships, or at least good enough relationships to never have the vote on me. People wanted to work with me. My name was out there. People would come to me. People were telling me things about the game that I didn't know about. And it ultimately was because they trusted me, whether it was they liked talking to me, they thought I was funny, they just wanted to work with me because they thought it was beneficial for their game. You want to look at Outlast, obviously outlasting everyone in a strategic mindset. I was able to make my ways to the end strategically in so many ways. Like Daniel was saying, threat level, coming into the game, people was like, Rizgar, what the hell? He's a big player. Coming into Merge, my target was huge. And the fact that I went probably only one round where multiple people wrote my name down is insane to me. And I think the way that I managed that was just making sure everybody felt good about me, making sure people felt like I was with them, when in reality, I never made any promises with anyone. I would just make people feel good just because I would level with them. Whatever people were thinking about, I would level with their game. When it came to Gabby wanted to be chaotic. I'd be a little chaotic with Gabby. When it came to Kai, I really related to Kai on a personal level. When it came to Jules, I would talk long game with Jules. When it came to Devon, me and Devon were just kind of like, just showing lots of love and just being like, oh, we don't know if we can trust these people. It just really came down to knowing my audience and knowing who to talk to, and even Daniel, I would talk about sports. Like, everybody had their own story and I was just a part of their story. And I wanted to figure out how my story can benefit theirs. And I think that was a big reason of why I was great strategically. And then obviously when it comes to whatever, the last part, outplay and competitions, I was a big comp threat. I've only won 2 of them, but when it mattered most that I needed to win, I put my ass on the line. I studied. I put my feet on cups. I was up for the 12-hour challenge. I found idols. I knew where every idol was in the game. And to answer Jake's question before, did I deserve the second idol? Absolutely fucking not. I think it was just misstep on Prod's part, but I won't shit on them for that. There shouldn't have been the same code. I got lucky, but at the end of the day, I found it before anybody else did, so that's not my problem. I use that as a benefit. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, I think I deserve to win this game because this game is all about control of information and knowing how to use it. And all the information that I had, I knew how to use it, and it brought me to this point here at Final 2.
Okay. I'll take it away then. First of all, I'm sorry that we never really did get the chance to get close. Ilsa, part of it was a circumstance of the fact that you were the last player in the game that I met that we didn't get to meet until Merge. And that ultimately, you're right, I never did make you feel comfortable. I'm super comfortable with me, and that wasn't necessarily an accident. Ultimately, part of my game was that I never wanted to give, I think a big part of my threat level management was that I never gave anybody false impressions of me. I never made anybody feel like they were on a standing with me that they were not for the most part. And this was again intentional because I saw this as a way to navigate through the game without having in a way that lets me make the moves I need to make without having to put a huge target on my back. I try to level with people on strategic terms, and I try to keep it as real as I could, telling them as much as could benefit us both for them to know without telling them things that I did not want them to know. That was the other thing. I was somebody who gave a lot of information to a lot of different people at different times, but never in a way that came back to bite me. I don't think anybody here can point to a single time where I said something to them that made my game actively worse at that moment. I don't think it happened. Or they said something informational. And so it was sort of, I think the biggest argument for me to win the game is the fact that I was so deliberate about the way I approached it, so deliberate about managing information, managing threat level. And yes, I was not getting information from every single person in the entire game, but I got all the information I needed. I think I had a better record for predicting things that would happen in this game at a lot of different points than anybody else. And it's because I was getting the information I needed and using that to think through probabilities and think through likelihoods. I do not have a super strong personality to rely on. I have a really strong analytical mind and the ability to think and think and think and basically predict what's going to happen and position myself to be favorably affected by my predictions. That was the skill that got me through this. That was the skill that got me this far. And ultimately, I did make some moves. I got the second idol by having two close allies and saying, would you be willing to help me with this? Would you be willing to help me? I got that idol within a few hours of the challenge. Also, competition-wise, I flew extremely under the radar as a comp threat, but I won more than anybody. I won the advantage in the first post-merge immunity with the puzzle time twice as fast as the next fastest submitted one. I won touchy subjects because, again, I have good social perception. I'm not necessarily the best at talking to people, but I'm generally pretty good at reading them. So I always had a good sense of where everybody was. I kept that web mostly accurate. Again, there were moves I missed. I would never claim to have played a perfect game, but I was playing a very calculated game the whole time. And then I won Final 4 immunity. I won Final 3 immunity, just ultimately to. I think Rizzo, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I do think you would have brought me Final 2. If you had won, but I still wanted that sureness, so I worked hard at those challenges. Final 4, I don't think I was ever going to be the vote, but still, I want to be able to say at the end, I did win 3 immunities. I won an advantage from challenges. I played a game that was strong on really every single dimension. I played it in the way that suits my personality and that suits my skill set. I did not try to be somebody I can't be.
Amazing. I loved both of your guys' answers, honestly. I come into every jury being very open because I love hearing people's speeches. And I think you guys have done a very good job at that. How much time do I have left?
You have another minute.
Another minute. Okay. Yeah, no, I just want to say you guys have done great. I would never expect you guys to be final 2, like what I was going back to what I was saying. And that is more surprising to me because I'm very happy for the both of you. So yeah, no, good luck. Wish you guys the best. It was honestly genuinely so good meeting you both, but love you, bye.
Hi. How are we doing? Oh
Good
my god,
game.
why can't I hear anything? Okay, I can hear. Okay, I can hear. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. I have some beautiful questions for you guys that I can't find because I had to write them down in case I got too drunk. So give me a second. Okay. All right. So my first question. So before, we're going to rewind the clock back to what May said, because this was a pre-written question, but it was already brought up. So as May said with the Gabby vote, that you did it on purpose, kind of upping the ante to get May out, which in my opinion wasn't necessarily making you a good player, but kind of reflects who you are as a person. So with my question, it is that basically that is common knowledge that you both used that situation, to influence the game to get Gabby out for your own reasons. And with that, you both said that you would quit the game if Gabby was not out of the game. Anyways, so regardless of any plays you may have made, any strategic moves, any of the times that you had the game in your hand, do you both truly believe that you deserve to be in the final two and to win, knowing that you made everybody in that game at that moment feel terrible for the both of you, that we felt that we had to vote Gabby out so that you guys would continue to have a good time playing? Anyone can answer that first.
I'll go first here. So that was not me manipulating y'all. That was a genuine feeling, and for what it's worth, I don't think I ever explicitly said I would quit. I did say something along the lines of it made me not want to play. And that's true. I did find that everything Gabby did there extremely poor taste. Yes, it ultimately benefited my game. At that point, I wasn't really concerned with that. That was all genuine emotion. Look, you can judge me for that, argue, but I guess that was a moment of weakness in what was otherwise a game that was where I kept a pretty cool head the whole time. I think saying that I don't, the statement "I don't deserve to be here because I had that moment" would be very strong. And for what it's worth, I don't think it was correct for anybody to keep working with Gabby there. The longer you leave Gabby in the game, the more with each vote out, the remaining power of each vote gets stronger. If you don't have somebody who you know you can reliably have vote with you, that matters a lot more going forward. So look, I don't feel great about that moment. I was actually angry that night. I really do hate poor sportsmanship. Y'all now know my background. I have been playing games so obsessively for like a decade of all sorts and kinds, and I am not a toxic player almost ever, and it just grinds my gears when people are. So judge me if you want. I'm not going to try to defend that too hard. It was how I felt, and it was a feeling.
Rizzo?
Yeah, so I think I'm self-aware to know the situation that happened, right? Ultimately, the end result favored me being here, and I'm aware of that. Do I think what I did crossed the line? I think more so in a sense where May's coming from. I definitely was hurt personally, which I try not to have happen in these games because these games are meant for fun. But ultimately, was I right in this situation? Probably not. Like, obviously, we are all our own main character syndromes in our own world. But I think at that moment, with me, honestly, trying to be truthful to Gabby in a sense, like, hey, everyone told me they're voting you out. Like, I'm sorry, I'm voting you out. And for Gabby to, showboat, like, ha ha ha, blah, 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 blah. I was like, wow, like, you're like, I just felt like I was being vulnerable to you in a sense, like, I'm sorry, but this is what I have to do. And then you just like shoving it in my face. And I just felt, there was a lot of other factors, which I'll talk to Gabby about after, because I don't think it should be streamed for everybody in the Utopia world to see. But do I have any distaste for Gabby? No, I don't. I think Gabby was just playing the game. We were all little 2D characters in the world, and it just happened that real life emotions came into it. Do I think I should be critiqued about it? For sure. That's what you guys are for. That's what we're here to be critiqued at the end of the day for our gameplay. And I admit, maybe did I use it for my advantage in the game? Sure. But ultimately, it wasn't fake. Like, I was genuinely upset, and that was my genuine feelings.
Thank you. Perfect. And my next question being, if anyone could take your guys' place in the final two, who would it be? As in, who do you guys believe would be the final two if it wasn't for you?
Sure. Okay. So, like, from a strategic sense, like, who do I think the next most likely option was? Like, what do I see as the next highest probability?
Yeah, just in your personal opinion, off of any type of reasoning.
Okay. Well, I mean, if I could pick anybody here, it would be Jules. I do think Jules had such a strong game, and did play, like, again, I have infinite respect for the game. I said it before, and that would be my pick for the person whom I think should win over me had she survived that that moment that she left. As far as next most likely option, I think if it hadn't been Rizzo or I, it would have been ultimately because you, Daniel, and Ilsa were not swayed. That basically Daniel and Ilsa were not swayed. That they had to vote each other out. That they did not share that opinion. That they decided that Rizzo and I. That basically they saw what Rizzo and I were planning, and that we could be like a final two threat, and that if y'all decided to shut that down, I think you and Ilsa, well, I think maybe you still would have flipped on Ilsa. Maybe it would have been something like you and Daniel could have happened, but I do think like that's like the next most probable option. It's probably you and one of Daniel or Ilsa.
Rizzo.
I'll kind of just give one answer because I could obviously say so many different perspectives and possibilities and shit for it to be anyone. I don't think it's Jules. Jules, you know I love you, but getting 7th place in a final 2 doesn't mean you deserve to be here. But you played great. I think the person that wholeheartedly played the best, and I said it in my opening speech to Devon or whatever, should have been Ilsa. Ilsa played the perfect game. The only flaw is she's not sitting here at final 2. I think Ilsa pushed a lot of votes, which I think not a lot of people did in the jury. I think Ilsa was in the forefront. Everyone loved Ilsa. Ilsa made everyone feel great. And do I think I kind of maintain a little bit of those? Like, sure, but I think Ilsa beat me to all of those aspects. And I genuinely do believe if Ilsa sat at the end with anyone, she would have won. So I genuinely think Ilsa deserved to be here and win. But for me to win, she couldn't be here.
Yeah, also I'll say as well from that perspective, Ilsa was more hurt by the swap from final 3 to final 2 than anybody else by far. It's far and away that I think it really hurt Ilsa's chance of making it to the end.
All right. Third question. Off the top of the dome, just because of what you guys have said. Oh, wait, I think I forgot it. Give me a second. Nope, I forgot it. Going back to my other question that is pre-written. So coming into this, I had a lot of trouble for different reasons, calculating everything that happened, deciding who I wanted to vote for. And it wasn't due to personal feelings. It was due to game feelings because, you know, listening to Rizzo's speech, listening to your speech, in my personal opinion, seeing either one of you win is very anticlimactic. And I'm only saying that for 2 reasons. One, because I feel like when you play great in a game and you win a game, it's someone not only that you root for, but that you watch and you're like, holy shit, like that was beautiful. Like you said, Jules deserved to. Jules having so many backup firsts was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Elsa, like saving herself, like from even being on expedition, going from the fact that we had lower numbers and her just working her way into everything was impressive. And you guys did some impressive things, you know, especially hearing a background to how you both manipulated a lot of things and how you guys got to where you are. So, but I will say that I am extremely, extremely proud of you guys after hearing this. Because coming into jury, I was like, what did they do that would have gotten them this far? And I will say that after hearing everything that you guys have said in this like span of like an hour, just shows that it is extremely impressive. And it makes a lot of sense. Let me shut my door. Sorry. It makes a lot of sense to why you guys are here. And I cannot be bitter about that. I can't fault you guys about that. And I have nothing. And I think like through this whole experience, it made me realize that I do have nothing but love and care for you guys. Like I said, it's just extremely impressive hearing Rizzo's backstory about how, especially that he knew everything. And
May I just come in to give you a time warning to wrap up?
Perfect. And just saying that, May, you did an amazing job of playing such a low-key game. So all of the feelings I may have had, I do truly believe you two sitting here is very well deserved. So I'm very proud of you both. And it is a hard choice to make because you guys both did so well with your explanations of why you deserve to be here. So I am very proud of you guys. No matter how bitter I would have been that I didn't get here, I'm very proud. So congratulations to the both of you. And I hope that, you know, you're both very proud of yourselves. That's all.
All right. Well, with that, we are now done with the jury questioning portion of the evening.
Can I
Yes,
get, like,
May?
5 seconds to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. We're so good at filling dead space.
We are. It does actually work out though, because our first person giving a closing speech will be Rizzo. And you will have 3 minutes to do so, and we'll just hang on a sec so May knows what.
And again, very exciting for this season to be coming to a close.
Oh my gosh, we have so many thoughts. We can't wait to share.
Lots of content. Shout out to the VL this season for being super, super active.
Oh my god, this was one of my favorite VLs just because everybody was like really funny.
And usually they're not. That's what Molly's saying.
Yes, the bar was low, but they managed to top it.
And oh my god. Thanks, Teddy. Teddy said I look pretty. Anyone's curious?
He didn't say I looked pretty.
No, he didn't. And
thank you, Cassidy.
I'm sorry. I really was not expecting to have to fill more dead space.
I wasn't
here.
either. I've run out of things to fill dead space with. It's been too many seasons of this. Somebody has stopped watching the stream because of us. So slay. Oh my gosh, we're back. Okay, so Rizzo, please take it away, and your time will start now.
I just want to let you guys all know I did put my blood, sweat, and tears in this game. I somehow cut myself open when talking to all you guys. But on a serious note, I think when you look back at Utopia 8 and you genuinely look at the narrative and the story as if this was edited on the show, I was that guy that was a jock that was nobody wanted to look or work with based on first perception. But ultimately, I'm just a big cuddly teddy bear inside. I was able to not only communicate with everyone in a respectful way, I felt like for the most part, but I was really just getting able to know you guys as friends and as people. And then we just kind of played the game as it went by. I genuinely take every relationship that I've made in this game. So like, I love all you guys. And I mean that from everyone that I've met, all the way from Madeline, all the way to the last person being voted out in Kai. I've had a relationship with all you guys. And the reason why I think I deserve to win this game is you look at Survivor, once again, 3 aspects. I'll play at last. You all want to vote for the complete winner, the complete player. And I think I embody a complete player. Can I win challenges? Yes. Can I find advantages? Yes. Can I socially maneuver and talk with people and figure out ways to not make me the vote, but be in the vote? Yes, I've done that. Voting in the majority every single time this season, besides one, whereas May has only done, or has May not voted in the majority 3 times, being a very crucial part in the game, which was 8, 7, and 9. And I think looking back at just the strategic game, I've only had 1 vote counted for me this entire season, which was Final 4. Yes, I had votes that I negated, but I was never really going home. You look at Utopia as a whole, Season 8, how many times can you say Rizzo was targeted this game? I don't really know. Maybe once, and I think that's an embodiment to my game. I think I play this game with passion. I play this game with drive, and I play this game with heart. And I think when you want to vote for a winner, you want to vote for somebody that loves not only the game, but loves playing with the people that he played with. And I genuinely mean it. It would mean not only the world to me, but I feel like, I guess I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say with that. It would mean a lot to me to represent this season. Did I play the flashiest game? No. Did I make the biggest moves and all that? No, but that's not me. My personality might be flashy. I just think ultimately I played the game the best of my ability, and it led me to being here. For someone like myself and the personality like myself to make it to Final 2 and not be a big player in this game in a sense where I was such a threat going at every single round, I think is very impressive. And I hope that you guys can see that. And hopefully when you go into that voting booth for the final time this season, you write the name RIZO. And that's it. Love all you guys. I seriously mean it. Thank you to all of you guys. Thank you to Prod. I genuinely have nothing but good things to say about all you guys. And hopefully you cast me as your... Sorry, I take that back. You will cast me as the winner of Utopia Season 8. Okay, I guess for the final time, this is me. I don't know. I'm done, Prod. I don't know what's a High School Musical song that I would sing.
Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
It was my fault.
I was just about to sing High School Musical too. Maybe that would have cost my chances. Anyways, sorry.
All right, May, your time will start now.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for playing this game, for being here the last hour and a half. I was brand new to the org community coming into this, and I have felt so much love and so much acceptance and formed so many good relationships. And I genuinely enjoyed talking to every single one of you so much, not just about the game, but when we could talk about other things. Like I said, this game was, I've played a lot of games and thought through how to win at a lot of games. but social dynamics are not always the easiest thing for me, and so this was a very unique challenge, and I really appreciate all of you being accommodating and taking it along with me, and it's been lovely. I have loved playing with all of you. As for why I should win, I want to revisit the Outwit, Outplay, Outlast. The same trichotomy, that's not a word, but the same trio that is from Survivor and that Rizzo brings up in his speech. Outwit. Well, like I said, I have lots of these funny prediction moments, but that only comes from so much intentional effort put into keeping track of everything in my head and keeping track of all the possibilities and literally like ranking and writing down probabilities of things happening. And yes, I was not on every single vote. There were some of those votes I knew about and was fine with happening how they did. The 20-minute round, I'll admit, that was just me playing bad. The Jules blindside, that hit both of us, but didn't have that information. Nobody told me that. But like yes, I didn't vote for the Jake vote, but I knew that was probably happening and I was fine with it. It was within the range of things I could accept. So, Outwit, I don't think anybody, despite, Rizzo supposedly being his information broker, I don't think anybody really used the information to come to more accurate conclusions throughout this game than I did. Outplay, I am the ultimate challenge victor of the season, which is funny because you look at me and I have no prowess in physical challenges. You wouldn't think that'd be me, but it was. I have won 3 immunities. I've won advantage through challenges. And Outlast, well, we're both standing here at the end. And look, I don't think I was ever really a target either. Yes, my name was written down in various votes. Like I caught a vote during the chaos round. I caught a vote from Edmund. But even if I hadn't won immunity at Final 4, I don't think I would have gone. If I thought Rizzo could have won that Final 3 immunity challenge, I would have just let that happen because I think Rizzo would have taken me. And so I don't think I was a big target either. I think that's because of this very conscious, very intentional threat management. The fact that I gave people the information to be comfortable with me. I kept my game transparent in the right ways, kept it honest, played to my own values, and played to my own strengths as a player as well as I possibly could have. So today, you should go in that booth. You should vote for me. And it's because despite being new, despite all of my challenges, I played a game that emphasized every single strength I have as a player and as a person and made up for the very real weaknesses that I had coming into this. And I did it intentionally from day one. Everything was deliberate. Thank y'all. It's been amazing. And again, I'm really glad I did this, even though it was stressful at times and I didn't sleep enough and all the other stuff. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Well, that is that. That is the end. And now we will be moving on to our jurors going to cast their votes for who they think should be the champion of Utopia Great Unity.
Once we have all the votes from the jury, I will do awards as quick as I can for how many awards we have. And then Jen will read the votes and crown our winner. So jury, please go to your voting confessional so we don't have, or actually we are going to go off camera. So Rizzo and May don't have to fill a bunch of dead space.
Wait, we have to fill dead space?
All right. I guess
ready?
everybody watching at home, I'll do what everybody wants and perform. So May, you can do the honors. You can pick the song, and I will.
Oh, Rizzo. After all of the high school musical references this season, I can only have you do your personal favorite high school musical song. What speaks truest in your heart, Rizzo? That's why I want you to perform for the lovely viewers at home.
You know why? Because this is what I'm going to perform. This is how I feel. Coming into the game, I always bet on myself. So in the words of Troy Bolton, we're going to bet on it. Hopefully you guys can hear this because it's on my phone. Everybody's always talking at me. Everybody's trying to get in my head. All right, and that's it because I'm assuming that this is going to be done and I don't want to do like a whole homage.
No, understandable. Yeah. I was saying, I mean, I guess we said it before, but like for all the viewers at home as well. Again, infinite respect to you. I took, just to everyone in the game, I took no pleasure in the questions that required me to directly compare myself to Rizzo's game or to insult your game or to insult anybody else's game. This has been a great time, and I have I've learned so much from the way everybody has played, and it's just been great.
It's all right, man. I'm immensely offended, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. That sounds like you.
No, it's all right. So to the VL and everybody's watching, everybody is wondering, is Utopia 9 going to happen? And I think that's a question that we all want answered. So Molly and Jen, take it away.
Take it away. You think they're coming back?
You have your answer, folks.
Only two people have voted because nobody could find the board. So you guys are going to have to keep talking.
Oh, boy.
So with that being said, it seems like Utopia has now been canceled. Me and May have killed the series. So with that being said, it was a great run, a great solid 8 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, it's been a good run, Utopia. Can't say I knew you that long.
Yeah, me neither. That's
but
actually a lie. I've known Utopia. I had a good amount of friends that played, but it's okay.
Well, I guess I've known since last season because my sister played, but it's been good. Things have been.
Your sister play? Imagine you just blindside the whole VL. My sister played.
Yeah, no, but no, yeah, I mean, it's shockingly nobody knew. It's not like there was somebody in the VL named May's sister for half the game. It didn't have happened. God, oh my God, I need to text my sister. I want to know everything that happened in the VL for the whole season. I want to know everything, and she's gonna tell me.
Well, I think she'd tell you once the vote's read.
Yeah, she can't
cheating.
tell me.
Disqualified on the last one standing. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's been torturing me that she couldn't say anything to me about this game the whole time. Since she was the only reason I was playing to begin with. It's not like I was gonna find this on my own. She threw the application at me a bunch of times and said, "You have to do this." Glad I did, but
hey, you made it to the end.
Yeah, we did it.
We did.
I kind of think it's funny because I do think it's funny from all the jury speeches. People want this perfect game or this absolute hero, the person who controls everything. And I actually, the more I think about games like this, the more I think that the main character, the hero, the one with the perfect edit, isn't necessarily the best player every time.
It's true.
Yeah, just a thought. We're filling Dead Space, so just today's daily musing on Survivor and games of its ilk.
What else can we bring up to, fill up some more time? Besides the fact that Molly and Jen don't want to let the viewers know if season 9 of Utopia is happening.
Season 1 of Utopia, or season 1, oh my God, season 9 of Utopia is happening.
Hey.
But we do have all the votes.
Oh God.
And we have a winner. Before we can do that, it's time for your first glimpse of how we saw the season. We're doing awards. Woo! How we do awards in Utopia is we make nominations as a production team. We send out all of that to the VL and Prod, and the VL all votes. So you have 20 people's views on every award, which is really fun. So I will start doing that now. The hero of the season was Ilsa, and the runner-up was Jules. The villain of the season, voted for by every person except for one, was Gabby. The best duo was Jules-O, which was Jules and Rizzo. And the runner-up was Kilsa, which was Kai and Ilsa. The best alliance was the OGG alliance of the hot people at Merge, which was Ilsa, Kai, Jules, and Rizzo. And the runner-up was the Roblox girlies, which was Daniel, Ilsa, and Kai. The best move was OGG getting out Devon at the Merge, and the runner-up was the Jules blindside. The worst move was actually a double header, and it was Kai voting out Ilsa at 4 and then throwing final immunity. The runner-up was May starting the Girls Alliance after being asked not to. Gone too soon was Judy, and the runner-ups were Devon and Edmund. Best juror was Jules, and the runner-up was Ilsa. The funniest moment was Glow's dancing, especially with Ilsa clapping, and the runner-up was Nicole trying to explain Cat's Cradle for 35 minutes. The best TV moment is what the VL is calling the hashtag Dabby divorce, and the runner-up was the Glow versus Ilsa tribe fight. The best confessionalist was Rizzo, and the runner-up was Gabby. The best all around, also known as the player of the season, was Ilsa, and the runner-up was Jules. The Hot Mess Express was Gabby, and the runner-ups were May and Brian. The best newbie was Kai, and the runner-up was May. The biggest rat was Gabby, and the runner-up was Devon. And now I'm switching pages. The most robbed was Ilsa, and the runner-up was Jules. And then the craziest tribal, we had a tie, was the 76421 merge vote and the Jules blindside. And the runner-up was the Judy tribal, which I recommend watching this season. It was silly. But that's all for me. This was a really fun season. I had a blast hosting. Thank you to the 16 of you and to you two for putting your all into this for so long. And Jen has the votes.
I do. It's true. I have the votes. All right. I'm not going to waste any more time. I know what you all are here to see. We will get into it. Okay. The sunglasses have come on. Sorry, I looked up and they were just there. Okay. First vote. Rizzo. Second vote. May. So each of you have 1 vote, and we have 5 votes left. Third vote, Rizzo. Fourth vote, Rizzo. Fifth vote, and the winner of Utopia Great Unity, Rizzo. Congratulations, Rizzo.
Congrats, Rizzo.
Feel free to make a thank you speech.
All right. First off, obviously, I wouldn't be here without May. May, thank you so much. Good game. I don't know if I should really be a absolute weirdo right now, but because you guys made me the winner and I didn't do this all season to all you guys, just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Here comes the cringe. You know, Riz God hasn't appeared till now. Got the hat on. With that being said, it's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, RIZGOD, Riz God, baby. And I'm your Utopia Season 8 winner. I'm the reason why this is no longer going to be aired because I can't believe I made it here. But with that being said, thank you so much for everyone voting for me. I had a great time getting to know everyone. Thanks, Molly, Jen, Jay, Melody, MJ, Nicole. I think that's everyone for hosting me this season. I told Molly and Jen like 6 months ago that when I ever played Utopia, I would win. So I am a man of my word, and I did win. So I'm going to stop being a douchebag or playing a bit. I love all you guys. Thank you. And I had a great time playing Utopia Season 8.
All right. Well, thank you, Rizzo. Congratulations. May, congratulations to you too. Both of you played so well, and we are so happy to have had you here tonight to be able to plead your cases. Well, that is it for this season of Utopia. We are really happy that we've had 2 really fun seasons back to back so far in Gen 2.
This was campy. You guys were a campy season, and we loved every second of
it. And U9 will be happening at some point, not anytime soon. But thank you all so much for playing along with us again, and we'll see y'all next time. Woo! And the broadcast.